How's it going, everyone? Welcome to my video series on interesting topics of modern Python programming. I am Daksh, your host, and in this particular video we will talk about Python dictionaries. Though dictionaries are simple, but if you understand it properly, it will help you to understand the language itself in a better way, and we are going to explore all those things in this particular video, so hang out till the end. Okay, so dictionary can be called as Python data type or containers just because it can contain more than one element. Choice is yours. People just use these terms interchangeably and it doesn't matter as long as you understand it. Now, Python dictionaries are nothing but a key value pair. Almost all programming language has key value pairs in some form or other. Like in C++, you can have STL maps and something like that. So a key value pair is similar to JSON like thing, but it is not exactly a JSON itself. So you can see a simple JSON key value pair where key is name, value is that, key is profession, value is a list which contains software developer, content creator. Okay, so whenever you think about Python dictionary, think of it as a key value pair. Dictionary, key and value. Okay, you can map it with real world dictionary. You just search the key to get the value. I mean, search the word because it is stored in sorted order. You search the word and get the value. Similarly, Python dictionary is a key value pair. Now there is one important thing all of you must understand before going ahead and using dictionary, the term called hashable. Now all programmers understand what is meant by a hash, okay? But to properly understand the language itself and the applicability and usability of dictionary, you should understand under what context the term hashable is being used in here. So here I am going to explain you this, so listen carefully. Now in Python, everything is an object, okay? Whether you are using a class or you are just using integer float, everything is an object, okay? Now integer, float, list, tuples, string, they are built-in objects, right? So there are two types of built-in objects: immutable built-in objects and mutable built-in objects. Objects like int, float, bool, string, tuple, and even Unicode is immutable, and objects like list, set, and dict are mutable. The meaning of immutable is simple. Once you assign a value to it, you cannot change it. Wait a minute, I know what you are thinking. You must be thinking that what the hell I am talking about. Why I am calling these things as immutable? You know what? I can get a value, I can increment the integer variable and floating point variables, I can change the string, I can do plus equal to a string. Then why the hell I am calling it as immutable? Don't worry, I am not gone crazy over here. I am gonna tell you and explain you this when we go ahead and see our code, which we are gonna do in a moment. Okay, now this immutable types, most of them are hashable. I will also explain what is the meaning of hashable and why I am saying most of them. Okay, and only these hashable immutable types can be stored as keys in dictionary, and this is extremely important. Even an interview question, guys. Dictionary keys can only be objects, built-in objects, which can be hashable and are immutable. Okay, remember this. I'm gonna show you in code all about this. Now before we go ahead and see the code, one important thing: mapping. Okay, so in terms of Python, mapping is a container object that supports arbitrary key lookups. Okay, so mapping is an implementation which is being used by dictionary to give you this flexibility of key value pair, and mapping is specifically used for this key lookup, and that is where hashable things comes into picture, because mapping will not work if there is no hashable objects. Okay, so this is something you must know before starting into Python dictionary. So let's go ahead, time to see the code. So welcome to the code, and this is a Jupyter notebook which I will use to explain your Python dictionaries, and don't worry, I am going to upload this Jupyter notebook in my GitHub page. So just a recap, everything in Python is an object, even ints, and some of them are mutable, some of them are immutable, and immutable objects cannot be changed. Now let's talk about some of the built-in objects like int, float, it's not boo, it's bool, sorry guys, string and tuple. So ival is a variable, right? It's an integer variable. If I go ahead and see let me see the type of it. Okay, type of I underscore val, you will get int. Okay, now there is a special function called id which gives you the id of a particular object. In Python, each and every object is having a unique id. Okay, each and every object. So the id is this. Now let me change the value to 200. This is the operation I can do, right? And let me see the id again. What is it? Is it same or different? From the first look of it, it will look like same, right? 140, but see, it's 896 over here, it's 096 over here. That means the id is different. Every time you change a immutable variable, it becomes a different object with different id. Okay, that's the reason you should take care while creating and changing variable multiple times. Okay, of course this will be deleted by Python, but again, this is what you should take care, that these are immutables. Int, float, bool, string, tuple, they are immutable. Every time you change, the existing one is not changed, a new object is created. Okay, so we can verify the same with id. Similarly, let's talk about string. ISTR, which is Daksh, and id age 27 something. Okay, so Python strings are immutable, which means that this we cannot do. Okay, so let me comment this out. But this we can do. We can create a different string from the string which we had earlier. And if we go ahead and see the id, is it same or different? 27840, same, right? Which means that if we are assigning like this, they are referring to same object or same id, right? So in Python, each and every object is having an id, and it's id comparison that determines whether the object is same or not. Okay, so I can do this also and this also, so both will be true. The id will also be same, the content will also be same, because in effect both contents are referring to same thing. Now let's talk about mutable objects list 1 2 3 4. Okay, I can get the id of the list, right? It will give me some id, right? And I can do this because it's mutable, and if I go ahead and change and see the id will remain same. This id is same. Okay, so even if I have changed this list, the id remains same, and that's the reason these are called mutable objects. Okay, if you change immutable objects, bool, float, anything, the id will not remain same, but in case of mutable objects, the id will remain same. I hope it's clear to you, right? Okay, now let's go ahead and understand the third term called hashable. In terms of Python, an object is hashable if it has a hash value which never changes during its lifetime. So all programmers know how to create a hash value, right? You can apply some formula to create a hash value. And how can you make sure that the hash never changes? Simple, right? If the content never changes, the hash never changes. That's why hashable happens only with immutable objects. Clear? Now, I know I val is 200. Every immutable object will have this underscore underscore hash underscore underscore function. It will give you some hash value. Let's change the I value to 300. It will give you a hash value 300. You will be wondering that 200 300 is the same as the value of the variable. It doesn't looks like hash. This is because integer is being used as a hash value itself. Okay, so if you create a float, let's say some I underscore f equal to 10.23, and if you want to see the hash of it, hash underscore underscore, you will see some different kind of hash value. Okay, integer, it is just being reused. I mean, you can save some CPU because it is anyway integer, and hash is integer. In the floating point as well as in the strings, you will get a hash which is being calculated. And if you change the string by adding plus equal to 31, the hash will also change. Okay, so string is immutable. You are changing it over here, and that's why hash is changing. Okay, now let's talk about list. Lists are mutable and don't have hash. So list is there. If I call hash function, it will give me an error. Okay, now with tuples, there is an important question. I said tuples are immutable, right? So they are hashable. So tuples are hashable only if individual elements are hashable, which means if I create tuple with integer, okay, I can get the hash. But if I create tuple with one of the element is a list, I cannot get the hash because I cannot get the hash for this one. Okay, so if you are creating tuple as a key for a dictionary, you need to make sure that it contains all hashable objects. Now let's create Python dictionary. As I already told you, Python dictionary is nothing but a key value pair. Key can only be the objects that are hashable. Now let's talk about with string keys. Name Daksh, language Python. Type, it's a dictionary. Now I can have integer key. I have named Daksh language Python. 0 is the key, 100 is the value. Okay, so I can actually see the dict now. You can see 0 is there. Now with float key, you can see float key with DCT with float key is there. Okay, similarly with tuple key, again I can say DCT, it will be having a tuple as key, but this will not work. Okay, because it is having a list. Tuple is having a list, that's why it cannot be used as a key for the Python dictionary. So if we go ahead and see the dictionary, it is this name, language 0, 22.45 and 123. Now let's talk about how to access the contents of a dictionary. We can use array notation, but this is not an array, so we cannot use 0, 1, 2 index. But we can use DCT name. Name is the key, value will be displayed. Language is the key, value will be displayed. 0 is the key, 22.45 is the key, and tuple 123 is the key. Now, one of the most obvious usage is that looping through keys and values of the dictionary. So we can use the for loop with key value in dct.items, and you will get all the key and values. Okay. Now let's talk about some of the useful accessory functions of Python dictionaries. To get all keys, just call keys, you will get all keys. Get the number of key values pairs, which is 5, you will get with len. Check the existence of a key in dictionary, you can say 0 in dict, or you can say if name in dict, it will give true. Okay, removing a key, delete the key. Okay, you will get DCT, which is not having 0 in it. Now one simple way of combining two lists of same size to create a dictionary using zip, you can see that one is becomes key, 2 becomes key, and 10, 20 becomes value. Now what if I am having more than 5 elements in first array? Nothing, it will still create 5. And let's say if I am having more than 5 element in second array, again nothing will happen, it will create elements of 5. Okay, which means that it should have at least same number of element, and if we have less over here, it will create zip of 3. Okay, now clearing a dictionary, this is my dictionary, I will just call clear and the dictionary is cleared now. Okay, so these are the some useful accessory functions of dictionary, and this is how dictionary looks like, and these are the things you should know before using dictionary, because it teaches you something about the language, mutable, immutable, id, hashable. If you know these things, you will be able to use dictionary in the best possible way. Okay, so that's all for today's video, guys. Thanks a lot, people. Thanks for watching. Till the next time we meet, good day, goodbye, take care.